Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome back to another review. And right off the bat, I rarely do shoutouts, but on Facebook, someone was very nice, saying that not only said some very nice things about me. That's not the reason why. It's because this guy named Adam Newcomb is actually going through back surgery, which I can only imagine how painful that is. And apparently he likes my videos. He asked for a little shout out. Again, I don't do that too often because then I'd be making like 100 videos of shout outs. But again, if a guy's going through back surgery, it's the least I can do. So before this review, Adam Newcomb, if you're watching this, good luck with your back surgery. It's really humbling when people send me a message saying that they like my videos, and it helps them out, so thank you for that. But the movie at hand, it's a film I was curious about. I liked the trailer. I liked the cast. You have Kevin Costner. You have Tommy Lee Jones. You have Ariel Oldman. Ryan Reynolds, he's in the film for about 8 to 10 minutes. Gal Gadot, who is Wonder Woman. Yeah, the bad guy from Bad Boys 2, who is also on Riddick. He's in here as the bad guy. I like him. I like that actor. Forget his name. Criminal is one of those movies that I like okay. But man, I could see a good and I could see a great movie in there. But it's one of those things that I wish I could find the writers and director, sit them down, and I'll sit over here, and I just want to ask them questions as to why. Because there are so many scenes in this movie that made me go, why? Because I like... most of the acting is really good. It's not an action film. It's more of a sci-fi, I guess, thriller with a little bit of action. I like the idea, the plot. I think Kevin Costner does a good job. I like his performance. This is probably my favorite performance from his since Mr. Brooks. Because I saw 3 Days to a Kill, and it was there. Did not care for Man of Steel, which he was in. Let alone Batman v Superman. I would say I like Mr. Brooks as a movie more than this. And it was funny. As I'm doing this, it's starting to rain, really enough, so... This is a film that, again, it could have been great. But it's just okay, because there's some really stupid stuff. And, for example, to jump ahead, what do I mean by stupid stuff in this movie? There's a scene. You have a bad guy. You have a bad girl. You have Kevin Costner. The bad guy, bad girl, they both want Kevin Costner to lead them to this guy they're looking for. Kevin Costner points to a room. Both of the bad people leave Kevin Costner behind. He's not in handcuffs. He's not tied up. They leave him behind. And they're in like a little laboratory. So he's able to take this, take that, do this, throw a little bomb, place blows up. At least the room goes on fire. And there's quite a few scenes that I go, why would the bad guys leave Kevin Costner behind? Why didn't they have a guy with a gun on Kevin Costner? Why didn't you have a guy with a gun on Kevin Costner and Kevin beat the shit out of him? Or fucking throw something? Because the Kevin Costner's character in this film is a bad motherfucker. He's a guy you don't want to fuck with. And I like the idea of this character. And I like the idea that, I don't know if this is a real thing, this could be a made-up thing, but like when he was a kid, something to do with his frontal lobe, so that he doesn't have any feelings, he has no impulse control. So there's some really funny scenes, like he'll just go in and he'll just get in line and grab something and just walk away from a store. And it's like, wow, this guy's an asshole, a dickhead. But the fact that they give this thing of this, what happened with his frontal lobe, doesn't excuse his actions, but it's like, okay, he's not doing it on, he has no impulse, and no hate, no love, anything. He doesn't feel hate or love. He's just, if you're in my way, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to get this. I'm going to leave. He has no filter. And it made it interesting character for Kevin Costner to play, and he definitely had like a Batman voice, but I kind of enjoyed his voice for the character he was playing. I mean, his first words are, "You hurt me, I hurt you worse." I liked him in this. Again, it's just the script. The script. And it needed a shot of adrenaline in action scenes. But to get more in depth, the first 8 or so minutes is Ryan Reynolds as his CIA guy. You find out he stashed another guy who's a hacker, who's working with the bad guy in Bad Boys 2, and who was in Riddick. I forget that guy. But this hacker, like the bad guy, again, I like the actor, but it's pretty much, I want these codes, I want this hacker to hack into the missiles and nuclear missiles and destroy the world. It's just sort of a typical bad guy you've seen 50 times. But Ryan Reynolds has the hacker who wants some money for info and wants protection. And Ryan Reynolds is going to meet him. He gets caught, escapes. He's tortured. You even have this thing where they put this like thing in his mouth, like a cow prod in his mouth, and like fries the inside of his mouth. And I remember seeing like, ooh, I never thought of it that way. And he's pretty much, the good guys find him dead like 10 minutes in. And I know there's another film Ryan Reynolds did called Selfless. I haven't seen that film. I believe it's with Ben Kingsley. I haven't seen that flick. But pretty much, Gary Oldman is the head of ops in CIA. And Gary Oldman, I liked him as an actor, but the writing lets him down because he's pretty much the asshole CIA guy who's yelling and does some stupid things. He's pretty much, I'm yelling, I'm an asshole, that's it. They get to Tommy Lee Jones, who's the kind doctor. Tommy Lee Jones has his memory program. Tommy Lee Jones gets the pick, and he picked Kevin Costner because he knows this is a guy who is a criminal, hence the title, but because of his frontal lobe thing, that's why. That maybe if he does this, what it is to take Ryan Reynolds, sort of his memories and thoughts, and put it into Kevin Costner's head. And Tommy Lee Jones wants to do this because maybe since Kevin Costner's frontal lobe is pretty much fried, this will stimulate it, and maybe he'll start having feelings and remorse and so forth. And I like that idea. It might be a bullshit idea, but this is a sci-fi movie. There are plenty of movies. RoboCop is a bullshit idea, but I love RoboCop. You never don't see RoboCop in real life, but I love RoboCop. I mean, sci-fi films, you either go with it or you don't. And I like the idea, and also as well as the memory transfer thing, but the frontal lobe thing, a guy who has no impulse, doesn't really, it's not feel anything as in, can't feel pain, but he'll do what he wants and that's it. It's not just because. And Kevin Costner's fun. I mean, when they see him in jail, he has this chain around his neck, and they shoot like tranquilizers at him. And he's like, you have to use 2 of those, eh? They shoot him again. Oh, you fuckers. I mean, Kevin Costner does say the F word a lot in this. When he's tied down, he rubs this girl's ass. And yeah, just no impulse. Rubs this guy's ass and, doesn't think anything else of it. You get a little bit of his backstory, something about his dad when he was a little kid. Uh, Threw him out of the car while it was going, and that got him in his memory thing. But Gary Oldman, his character's written horribly. Gary Oldman's trying to do the best they can, but he's just so stupid. For example, Tommy Lee Jones is doing a procedure, and he's like, oh, if I keep going, he might die. And then Gary Oldman's like, you think I give a shit if he dies? Well, if he dies, keep going. And I'm thinking, well, if he dies, you still did nothing, genius. I don't give a shit if he dies. Keep going. And he's just like, if he dies, it still doesn't work. You know? And then after surgery, he wakes up, and like 30 seconds later, Gary Oldman's in his face going, where is it? Come on, you remember something, huh? Well, you remember something? You remember, huh? You remember? You remember, huh? You remember? This is your name? This is your blah, blah, blah. I like Kevin Costner. He's like, I don't remember nothing, fucker. But then Gary Oldman gives up. Like, oh, this didn't work. I'm like, dude, it's been 2 minutes. This whole scene's been 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, you give up? It's not like, oh shit, in 10 minutes we're dead. I'm like, you got days. No, after 2 minutes, right after Kevin Costner woke up, Oldman's like, fuck you, you take his ass to jail, and you're done. And I'm like, it's been 2 minutes. Why don't you keep him there for, a day? How about you wait till the next day before, after 2 minutes, you're going to send him back to jail? Gary Oldman's a fucking idiot in this movie. But I don't blame the actor, I blame the script. Again, I just want to ask the writers and director, what are you thinking? How does this make sense? Why would he get rid of this guy after all this stuff, and after 2 minutes, when he just woke up? That's not good writing. But Tommy Lee Jones, I like Tommy Lee Jones. Nice to see him in here. He's great. You could say he's one-dimensional, but I liked him as the kind doctor. And he's like, gives him a pill and tells him to take care of yourself. Now, this next scene, I was a little bit confused because Kevin Costner was looking. Kevin Costner's handcuffed in the back of the police car, and then you have 2 cops ahead. And I see Kevin Costner looks at something, and I'm like, okay, are they bad guys? Are they going to kill him? Are they going to do something or not? Or did I see something weird? Because the next thing, he goes to the side of the car, rips something off with his teeth, makes like a little hook, and hooks the guy in the neck. And you see practical blood spurting. And I'm like, okay, is he killing an innocent cop? Or are these guys trying to fuck with him? And it's like, okay, if he's killing an innocent cop, which you can't tell me he's not dead, because when you get hooked in the neck, and the guy's dead. He's going to die. And I'm like, okay, did you just kill an innocent cop? And if they're guilty, then you didn't really explain it as well as you could have. So, I like the idea of, grabbing this thing, making a little hook, and the practical blood, but I'm like, the writing is like, okay, did he just kill an innocent cop? I don't know. But I will say I was getting into this because I like the idea of the plot. I'm liking Kevin Costner's performance. When the car crashes, the other guy, he takes the guy's cigarette, just punches him out. And my favorite part of the film is when he's just out in public. How does a guy with no impulse interact in public when it's Kevin Costner? And he just grabs a sandwich and a drink and says, "You're funny," and leaves. He comes across a van. He's like, "I'm taking your van." And like, what? And he kisses these guys' ass and even uses a cooler to beat a guy's head. And then just takes the hat. And people look at him and he just goes, "My head's cold." It just puts on the hat and leaves. Like, the way it's done, I'm enjoying Kevin Costner's performance in this. It's making me chuckle. And memories, which are Ryan Reynolds' memories, give him pain. And he gets to the Ryan Reynolds house. He's able to remember like images of the daughter, the Ryan Reynolds' daughter. For a split second, he looks in the mirror and he sees Ryan Reynolds' face. He knows the codes to the house. He ties the Gal Gadot up, and you're like, okay, what's he going to do with her? But he doesn't do anything. Steals some stuff and leaves. And I like Kevin Costner's most of his arc. It's just, again, the writing, like with the cop. I'm like, was that an innocent cop? Was that a dirty cop? Were they going to fucking kill him? What's the deal? Same with one or two things after it. I mean, it's just the writing. But most of the Kevin Costner's arc I do like. That's what I like about the film. It's just... I like the idea of one of the things he took was the daughter's hairbrush and he gives it away, and then he has a memory of the little girl, Ryan Reynolds' memories. He said, "No, give me that back." And he keeps it. And then they did more things that made me chuckle on purpose. Like, he goes into a Starbucks type, and he just, again, no impulse. He just walks in front of people in line and talks, and the girl talks back in French, and Taylor says, "Oh yeah, Spanish." And then some guy fucks with him, which you do not want to fuck with this Kevin Costner, because the guy says, "It's French, motherfucker." Like, it's like, oh, right. Because Kevin Costner thought it was Spanish, and he mentioned that, and then the guy trying to be smart says, "Oh, it's French, motherfucker." And he just punches the guy off. Like, he says, "Oh, we haven't met." Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's French, motherfucker, huh? I don't know, I almost want the entire movie just to be about this guy with his impulse, and then learning about emotion, learning about how to feel, and not even worry, just get rid of, if you don't even need the bad guy from Bad Boys 2, you don't even need the hacker guy who's like the Dutchman. You don't need all of that. You could have just had him just dealing with this, and that's the best part of the movie to me. The good Dr. Tommy Lee Jones comes up to him, and Kevin Costner's like, "Oh, my fucking skull's splitting apart." "Oh, I'm sorry." You see, that's not me. It's the Ryan Reynolds character's name. I think it's Billy. It's Billy. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, "Well, it's making you better. This is called emotions. You're feeling." And then David Costner goes, "Cheers." And then he stops like, "Cheers? Who the fuck says cheers?" Because that's what I guess Ryan Reynolds would have said. It's like, "Cheers? Who the fuck says cheers?" See, Kevin Costner I really liked. I wish it was in a better movie. It kind of reminds me of Lockout with Guy Pearce. I would say I still prefer Criminal over Lockout. Lockout pissed me off more because that really, number one, is supposed to be an action movie, and it failed in all fronts on the action as well as the CGI as just complete failure. I like Guy Pearce. I wish that was in a better movie. Here, I like Tommy Lee Jones, and it's not really an action movie. I would prefer more action if you want to go on that route, but I like it just didn't piss me off as much. And some guys from the cops, the CIA, whatever you want to call it, he remembers stuff Ryan Reynolds had remembered. Like, "Oh, I remember that busted ankle," and kicks the ankle up, and Um, that Gary Oldman wants him back, and then that's where you get to see in the trailer where it's on the bridge, and it's a little shootout. He gets in the car, drives off, it swims away. Gets to Gal Gadot, tells her the truth. And again, this writing could have been better. I mean, Gal Gadot doesn't believe him right away. But then there are times where this guy who had been in your house before and tied you up, and granted, he's knowing stuff that you don't know, but at the same time, you could think maybe he stalked you, maybe he's been stalking you, watching every moment you've had, maybe he's a hacker, maybe he's... The way the digital age is today, like, there are times where you see Kevin Costner with your little girl, and then you come up, you have a gun behind you. But I'm like, why don't you watch your daughter the entire time Kevin Costner's there? Why are you leaving her alone at all? Should be 0%. And it's like, the script is being a little bit lazy at this point. I mean, I like the idea of Kevin Costner. Like, we know Kevin Costner's not going to hurt them. But how would Gal Gadot and the daughter, like, immediately seems to trust him for some reason. Shows him how to play the piano, which, you know, Kevin Costner has memories of that. And again, Kevin Costner does a really good job. He's talking about how he made me feel things, know things. You know, he's a guy who's never felt love, and he even says that he loved you. Again, Kevin Costner, I wish you had a better director and another pass on the script and an injection of action. Those are the main three things. More important, like, the action would be, more action would be great, but at least this is the wrong director. I think he did The Iceman or something like that, which I didn't even like that, with Michael Shannon. And he was the wrong choice for this, and I just want to talk to the writers. I go, why does this... Explain it to me. Were your script changed? Were your script more into this? Did the director fuck with you? What happened with this script? Why is it that later on, when he's pretty much Gal Gadot and the girl get taken, and Kevin Costner finds out about this, and again, I like Kevin Costner because the whole thing is supposed to be finding out where this hacker is, his location. A memory pops up, goes to his library. Then there's the bad guy for Bad Boys 2. And I like Kevin Costner, like, you're the guy that killed me, a.k.a. Ryan Reynolds. And then smiles. And it has some nice dialogue with the bad guy. And he gets taken. And that's where you get this thing with the Kim Lab. He points to, and the two bad guys leave him. Or, like, why does Gary Oldman, like, more than once, his guys take him, then leave him, then no, we don't need you anymore. I'm like, why don't you keep him for more than one day, Gary Oldman? You do this, like, 2-3 times in the film. You hold him for, like, 5 minutes, and then, oh, never mind. Why don't you hold him? I think you have room for one guy to hold. I think you have enough cops to watch one fucking guy. Let's keep him here just in case. Let's keep him here until this threat is long and gone. And then if we don't need him, we can... It's just... Well, he steals an ambulance, and I like Kevin Costner going, you know, I'm going to fuck you up. Some cops are behind him. He does a little bit of swerving. The cop cars crash. But then on the radio, it says, we have casualties. And I go, casualties? Immediately when I think of that word, I think of death. You know, casualties of war, death. Of course, if you look up the actual definition of casualty, it's not just death. It's if you're injured as well, or severely injured. But I'm like, even writing-wise, that's the wrong word to have. When we're supposed to be rooting for this guy who's going to go to save the woman and the kid, and Gary Oldman's like, they don't matter, and Kevin Costner's like, they do to me. You can't have them get cop cars and cops and officers crash, and then on the radio say, there's been some casualties. That's the wrong word to use, because immediately you're thinking, oh shit, he just killed some innocent cops to save these two people? What the fuck? It's like First Blood. When Rambo has the cop car crash and burn, or at least, I don't know about burn, but it does crash. There's not someone saying there's been casualties. At least we can put in our own words, oh, the cops are probably fine. I mean, they're probably hurt, but they're not saying, he has just killed 2 cops. In First Blood, when you watch it, what they tell you, he's only killed 1 guy, and that's because the 1 cop was ready to shoot Rambo in the face for no good reason, and Rambo was defending himself in First Blood. And that works. That's why you root for him. They need... Like, the writing in First Blood is what's needed in this. First Blood is a better written movie. That's why that film, not the only reason, but it's one reason why it works. Here, it's not. Don't use the word casualty. You just say, we have some cops who are injured. We have some injured policemen here. Casualty, I shouldn't have to fucking look up the definition and go, does that automatically mean they're dead? Oh, it's kind of maybe injured, but maybe dead. I'm like, and if they're dead, or if some of them are dead, then that doesn't help me when you have, okay, he's trying to save 2, but you should be killing innocent cops. Which then goes back to the beginning, that 1 guy with the hook. Is he dead? I'm not sure if they said something about those 2 guys. If they did, I apologize. But I know in this instance, they specifically casualties, I'm like, what? I'm guessing they're just injured, but I shouldn't have to guess. But he arrives in this little airport where the bad guy's there. And I like that Kevin Costner runs 1 guy down, takes like a little hatchet, and it looks like he just hatcheting the guy. Like, this is a badass motherfucker. And then the bad guy's on Kevin Costner, and then Kevin Costner tries to throw the hatchet and misses. And there's one of those where the bad guy gets away on the plane, but the hacker earlier made it so that when the bad guy puts the codes in, the missile blows him up and not them up. So, I would just prefer Kevin Costner killing him mano a mano and take his fucking head off, but they try to do that. The bad guy pretty much kills himself, not on purpose, but his actions lead him to killing himself. And then it ends with, like, Kevin Costner's on a beach, and Gal Gadot and the girl go up to try to talk with him, and I'm like, I'm not sure if the script didn't really make it 100% that these 2 would love Kevin Costner this much. And then Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Oldman are in the back, and even Gary Oldman says, I want to offer him a job. And I went, what? He just killed innocent cops, at least if you go by some definitions of casualty. And what about this other stuff? I'm like, what? I'm like, you notice in this review I said, and even, yes, the script is like, in the direction. But I can't hate this film. I can't hate this film because I like Kevin Costner. I like the idea with the frontal lobe thing, and even the memories going to him, and the art that they're attempting. It's not 100% work because of the script, but Gal Gadot, if you're wondering, I thought she was average at best. I don't think she was good or great. She has more acting to do here than Wonder Woman and Batman vs. Superman, but she's average, but I don't think she's good or great. There are plenty of actresses you could have picked over Gal Gadot. This doesn't make me go, oh, I watched this acting, Wonder Woman. Fuck Wonder Woman. I don't care about the character. I don't care about that movie. It's got Chris Pine. I don't like him either. Was Jack Ryan movie that no one saw because it flopped? It's frustrating. I like it okay, but it's frustrating because the script and director, I just want to sit them down and go, okay, listen, I know I got a beard and I look like a redneck, but I got a little something I could give you and tell you a little bit. And I haven't even been to film school. So if it doesn't work for me, it probably doesn't work for other people as well. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're saying, Matt. I'm like, this doesn't work. This doesn't work because this and this. It just... And that's why I'm not a guy that's like, oh yeah, the critics. Believe me, there's a lot of films where I disagree with the critics, but I can understand why the critics tore this apart. And it has a pretty decent rating on IMDb, which I was surprised by. And I'm like, what the... Again, I liked it okay, but for those who give it a higher, what do you think about this stuff I'm mentioning? I mean, that and that and that. What do you think about that? But yeah, it's a flawed movie. Tommy Lee Jones I like. I really like Kevin Costner. I like the idea of his character. I like some of his dialogue. I think he's pretty badass. Pieces of the store are decent. Ariel Vromen, his character is horribly written. The bad guy, you've seen this bad guy 100 times. There's nothing to it. Again, the script and the directing needed a different director, and it needed a better script. And that's what hurts it. More action would help too. But if you want to make it just a science fiction film and not an action film, fine. But you gotta give a good script, and I think it's an okay movie, but it could have been good and it could have been great. And that's what's frustrating about it. But again, I really do like Kevin Costner in it. I really do. So either way, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.